Yeah, okay. So we're going to introduce you to the Resolutions Committee. Resolutions Committee. So right there is, right, they wrote it backwards, these guys. They put Shane Combs, Region 5. Raise your hand, Shane. And then they put Violet LaPratte, Region 2. Oh, Jimmy's waving at the mic. Mic number 1.
My name is Jim Cardinal from Region 1, President of Region 1. Ladies and gentlemen, many of them have asked me why my name wasn't in a ballot, and I just want to explain to you why. Because you want to know. I put my name in for president, and it says we at Provincial Council passed the criminal record.
So
I just want to explain. I have the right to explain.
Yes, you do, Jim. But we're right now, if you don't mind, I like to get on with the resolutions. And then what we're going to do is actually, I'm hoping that we'll ask the people that are running to come and please talk to us, tell us who's running, and give us a little speech or so. It doesn't have that on the schedule, but I think it'll be important that you come up as well, and if you want to talk about that. But I just wanted to deal with the Resolutions Committee. And so I'll just get on with that. Thank you, Jim. Violet Pratt. I started, here you are back there, Violet. And then we have Carmela Mackay. Right there, Region 6. Cheryl Gordon, Region 1. Alana Tyler, Region 4. Paul Bercier, Region 3. There you are. Here's your committee. And then Mr. Lawyer here, Terry Antonello. That's right. Well, a round of applause for your hard work and Resolution Committee. So we'll just let her add it. She's going to read our resolutions, our new resolutions for the floor for you guys' consideration.
Everyone's ready?
Yeah, so the Assembly is asking that the party that's going on over there, put your beers away and settle down. No, take your conversation outside. Yeah, you're still going. I guess I got to get louder. So I'd just like to mention to the group in the back over there that you're quite loud. We can hear you. We can't hear ourselves. Sergeant at Arms, I'm going to have to now take another step. Can you go and please let those folks know that we don't want to hear any more of their conversation, please? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So our committee was tasked to go through the special resolution and decide if this was a valid resolution, and we have decided that it is. So I'm going to read it to you, and then I will pass it over to the chair, and we'll open it up to the floor. The special resolution of the members of the Métis Nation of Alberta Association. Whereas with the ratification, adoption, and implementation of the Otipemisiwak Métis Government Constitution, the Métis Nation of Alberta's 6 large administrative regions are to be transitioned to 22 smaller districts. And whereas, under the Otipemisiwak Métis Government Constitution, district councils are to be established as new district-level governance structures in place of the existing local councils and regional councils. And whereas, in order to follow for the transition from exiting the local councils and regional councils to new district councils, as contemplated in the Otipemisiwak Métis Government Constitution, certain amendments are required to the current bylaws of those local councils and regional councils. And whereas the current bylaws of certain existing local councils and regional councils require that any amendments to such bylaws must be ratified by the citizens of the Métis Nation of Alberta at an annual assembly. Now therefore, the 95th Métis Nation of Alberta Annual General Assembly resolves as a special resolution that any amendments to the bylaws of the local council or regional council that are approved by a special resolution of the members of the local council or regional council, whereas prior to or after the date thereof, are hereby ratified and confirmed, provided that such amendments, A, are made for the purpose of transitioning such local councils or regional council, including the interests and assets of thereof as applicable, to one or more district councils that will represent the citizens formerly represented by such local councils or regional council. B, conform to any requirements set out in the Otipemisiwak Métis Government Constitution and any applicable Otipemisiwak Métis government laws. C, ensure the ongoing local and or regional level benefit and control through the district councils of any currently held interests and assets of the local council or regional council. And D, meet such other requirements as the citizens' councils may establish to ensure the effective and orderly transition to district councils, provided as such requirements reflect the spirit and intention of the Otipemisiwak Métis Government Constitution. I'm going to pass this over to the chair, and you guys can open it up for questions.
You don't think we should add? Okay, no explanations? No
Do I read
explanation for the rationale? Okay. Any questions?
Sorry, there was one more page. I missed that, sorry. Number 2, for the purpose of the special resolution, any reference to the Citizens' Council shall be read as a reference to the Provincial Council prior to the coming into force of the Otipemisiwak Métis Government Constitution.
Can the mover of this special resolution come forward?
President, Mr. Chair, Garrett Tomlinson, Region 6.
And the seconder?
Audrey Pacha, Region 2.
Thank you. We have a mover and a seconder for the special resolution. Discussion? Microphone 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rick Boucher, Region 1. I just need to let everybody know here that I have always supported the Constitution, and I'll continue to support that. My only concern with this resolution is that what is decided here today, whether it's to ratify this resolution or to reject it, is not legally binding on any region. Why I say that is the Alberta Societies Act clearly states that any bylaws need to be ratified by the society. Métis Nation of Alberta Region 1 Association is its own society. So the membership of Region 1 need to vote via special resolution whether to ratify or reject a special resolution similar to this, not the membership of the Métis Nation of Alberta, membership of Region 1, and that applies to every other region. Okay? That is the process. Okay?
That's correct, but the bylaws also state, the Métis Nation of Alberta bylaws state that all special resolutions of regional councils, local councils, must be ratified at an annual assembly.
And that's fine.
So that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, and that's fine. And you are who?
Terry Antonello, Legal Counsel.
Oh, hi, Terry. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Been a while, partner. I'm doing fine, thank you. Yes, but like I stated, and you agreed with me, Terry, that we have to have an AGM at our region and every other region to ratify these new bylaws.
That's correct.
Yes, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So at this point, I'd like to ask our regional president and our regional council of Region 1 to immediately give 21 days notice so we could have a special assembly in Region 1 to ratify or reject these bylaws. Thank you very much.
Right. But again, just so that we're clear, today we are doing step 2 of that process where the annual assembly will ratify the special resolutions of the regional council and the local councils.
With 75% support, Terry.
Correct.
Questions? Mike 2.
Thank you very much. Audrey Petra. So I just want to maybe provide some more clarity on this resolution. And I want to speak to the previous speaker, Rick. You are totally right that it has to be approved, whether it's a local, whether it's a region, it has to be approved by that body. What we're trying to do here is, if you recall from the Society Act bylaws, the region has to approve it, and then it has to come to an annual assembly for the final approval. This is the last assembly under the Métis Nation of Alberta bylaws. As of September 19th, and the Otipemisiwak Métis government kicks in, then the next gathering like this will be the citizens' gathering under the Otipemisiwak government. So what we're trying to do is, this resolution says that if those locals and regions decide to give their 21 days notice and pass a resolution that will include them changing their bylaws to get elected within the new Otipemisiwak Métis government. Because right now they're under the bylaw, under the Societies Act. And in order to get elected under the new government, you have to be under the Otipemisiwak Métis government. So what we're trying to do is make it possible that those locals and regions can have a 21 days notice and then be able to elect their new bodies under the Otipemisiwak Métis government, not the Societies Act. So it's exactly as you're saying, and all we're trying to do is provide a process for that. Because if we wait for 21 days for them to do that, there's going to be no annual assembly to do the second part that it says in the provincial bylaws, in the MNA bylaws. So this is not going against what you're saying. It's basically providing that second part of the resolution to be able to move forward. I hope that explains it a little bit more, because it's not going against, and it's again that because the locals and the regions are incorporated independently, they are the ones that have to make that first move to be able to move over into the new government. I hope that explained it better.
Mike 2 again. Okay, we'll go to Mike 1 for now then. Mike
Melanie
1.
Omenhio, Region 4. First off, Mr. Antonello, good afternoon. I'm going to challenge you on something. Special resolutions are for the intention of changing bylaws. What bylaws are we changing with this special resolution?
Not always. If you take a look in the bylaws, clearly says it's special, that you need a special resolution of the annual assembly to ratify changes made by local councils and their bylaws and changes made by regional councils and their bylaws. Have to be ratified by the annual assembly. This is the process to ratify those special resolutions that will take place to move to the Constitution.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you that yes, it's required that we have annual meetings within those structures to change bylaws within those structures, much like Rick just said. I don't know that the annual assembly here requires this to be a special resolution. So I know I'm muddying the waters, but I think that you guys should rethink how you're doing this. But the other thing that I want to say about that is that, and I understand what you guys are trying to do, but the reality is that even having a special resolution at an annual process for either the regions or the locals is also going to have us submitting that to a Societies Act. How does that pull us out of the Societies Act? Why are we not setting up structures to register these entities under our Otipemisiwak government?
In order to transition over, the local council has to file and approve a special resolution. Once the special resolution is approved, according to our bylaws, which we're under at the present time, that special resolution has to be ratified by an annual assembly. This is what we are doing in anticipation of all those special resolutions being passed by locals and regional councils. We don't want to have a whole bunch of annual assemblies to take care of that issue. This is what is happening with this resolution now. It is the process to allow the transition by the local and the regional councils to a new constitution.
Microphone 2, please.
Thank you. Terry, thank you very much. Again, my name is Joe Blind, and I'm attending because the resolution. I come from a settlement. I live in a settlement. I'm a member. I got a card in my pocket, and I'm also a member of the Métis Nation. I'm very worried right now after having been following. I did the right thing a year ago to encourage the Métis people to go ahead with the Constitution. And I've been supporting it ever since. Don't get me wrong. I don't want nobody to go on telling Joe Blind doesn't want the Constitution. I want it just as much as everybody else wants it. But there's a lot of problems. The Métis Nation itself never even stopped to deal with us settlement members. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, settlements have been in existence for 85 years. We moved in 1936 into these settlements, and we've been standing on Métis ground since then. We never left. We kept our ground. And today you're going ahead with a constitution and we're not even included. Métis Nation, where is your land? Where do you stand to make a constitution when we in turn got the land base? There's a lot of you Métis people here that came to the assembly. I want you to get up and speak your piece. Don't just sit there. Because today, ladies and gentlemen, this Métis Nation Assembly, it's our assembly. We're the bosses today. We decide what the decisions have to be today. The rest of the council and the leaders have their day off. It's our baby today, folks. Let's make that decision. And I don't want to support something that I'm going to have to come back. It's just like my dad says, why did you close the gate after the cows got out? I'm not going to do that. I want an answer before this happened, and I want to see the Métis settlement dealt with before anything is approved, because you'll have a problem after that, I assure you. Thank you.
Before giving Terry the opportunity to answer if he wishes, I think Zach Davis has...
I think you guys are forgetting about me here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to answer? I don't think you have to. No, I wouldn't bother. Microphone 2, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen and elders. First of all,
Name and region,
Lauren
please.
Lattiser, Buffalo Lake Native Settlement member, Zone 1 Métis Nation member. No disrespect to the Métis Nations of Alberta. I respect the Constitution going forward. However, I'm going to speak on these districts. I'm not in favor of those districts. The zones were working well. Why didn't we leave them there? The fact is, I'm going to speak a little bit about my history as a Métis. I come from Lac La Biche Mission, where all my family's from, and with these districts, it's going to affect me. I'm going to be displaced, and that's not a Métis government to displace your people. The fact of the matter, my late brother Earl Lovely was a Métis leader in the late 60s. He got murdered in Lac La Biche while he was a Métis Nation president in 1971. Harry Daniels lived with us at Lac La Biche Mission. After he buried my brothers at pallbearer, he moved on and got our Section 35 rights at the Supreme Court of Canada. So now, with this districts being imposed upon us, you're going to take away that from us Métis people? Our community predates Canada, predates Métis nations, predates Métis settlements. With that being said, let's leave it as it is, zones.
Thank you. Microphone 3, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Bev New, Region 5. I wasn't privy to the meetings when we were talking about the Constitution, but I'll tell you, many people in this room know me. I've been part of Métis Nation 30 years. What I want to say is, with the Constitution, we know in this room we need a self-government. We know we need a Métis government. We know that. When I look around, I don't understand what the big rush is. When I look at the elections, how many acclamations there were. I talked to somebody outside who wanted to run but didn't even know how to go about it. So all I'm saying, folks, is you know what? We do need a government, but we don't need to rush it today. Where's our town hall meetings? If we were to rush it today and pass this motion, that's written in stone and given it concrete. And if I'm wrong, Audrey, tell us. But that's the way that I see it. And you know what, folks? You bet we want a government, but let's get through the election. Let's invite all of our people and let's have town hall meetings and build our government. Thank you.
Thank you. Microphone 1, please.
Yeah, my name's Robert Lee, Region 4, with the Métis Nation for the last 40 years. Building a local in Edmonton, local 1885, and bringing Métis Children's Services to light. Those types of programs are developed by a community. You're rushing this position, this special resolution, without any thought to the community. The community doesn't understand what you're doing. All of a sudden, you realize that you have to have 21 days for special resolutions at local and regional councils before this can be accepted. I know where you're coming from on the acceptance of the AGM, but the community doesn't even understand the Constitution at this point of time. So I'm with Bev. You're rushing the thing through without the thought of the people. And the people are the citizens of this Métis Nation or the Otipemisiwak self-governance. Now, if we're going to govern ourselves, let's govern ourselves in a proper manner. Let's understand what we're getting into. I understand that this is going to be put into the Canadian Constitution. Now that bothers me, to say that it's going to be embedded in their Constitution, our Constitution with their Constitution. There's no clarity. Give us clarity to how you're going to work this process so the people understand. We're looking for food, clothing, and shelter. We're looking at living the life that we want to live under our rights. Nobody else's rights, under our rights. And I thank you very much. I believe in the Constitution, don't get me wrong. And I believe in this self-governance. But let's do it proper. Let's not rush into something that's going to be written in stone and we can't get out of. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Microphone 2, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dorothy Desjardins, and I come from Region 1. So my question is in regards to when the transition of the Otipemisiwak government takes place, what happens to, I'm holding my card in my hand and it says Métis Nation of Alberta. What happens to our Métis Nation of Alberta ID cards? Do we still have cards that say we are a member of the Otipemisiwak government?
I'm just going to assume once a Métis citizen, always a Métis citizen.
So are we allowed to keep these cards that say Métis Nation of Alberta?
I can't tell you about the cards, but you're still going to be a Métis citizen. I don't know how.
Well,
I don't
it's
know
just a question that I'm sure there's others here that are probably wondering the same thing. Anyone like to answer that
question?
Yes.
Thank you.
You can keep your card. Your card will still be valid.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Microphone 3, please.
Brenda Berg, Stratachuck, Region 1. I have a couple of questions, Terry. Okay, you know how some locals are not under the Métis Nation. They have their own set of bylaws, and they have their own AGM. Some of them have that. So how are they going to transition? How are they forced to transition? Because it's a force thing. It's not a, oh, I agree to do this. You want to answer that?
I will, yeah.
Okay.
So, first of all,
okay.
No local is being forced to transition,
okay.
All right? Okay. In order to transition, every single local will need to pass its own special resolution from its own members. So the decision to transition is in the hands of the membership of each local. That's one. Most locals have the template M&A bylaws. If they have the template M&A bylaws, then that decision of the local membership needs to be ratified by this assembly. And so what this resolution is about is pre-approving the choice of a local to transition if they choose to do that. You are correct. Some locals don't have the template M&A bylaws. There are some locals that have very old Societies Act template bylaws from the 70s. In those cases, this pre-approval is not required. And they can transition simply if their own members choose to transition through a special resolution of their membership.
Okay. My second question is, and my final one, Brian, what are the implications if third reading is not achieved?
Of the legislation?
Mm-hmm.
We, in the self-government agreement, have a provision, and this is a binding contract, that if the law doesn't pass, we will meet again with the minister, figure out why it didn't pass, try to amend it to address the problem, and try again.
Okay, so is it possible for, because right now it's Alberta, Ontario, and BC.
Saskatchewan.
Sorry, Saskatchewan. There seems to be a lot of controversy surrounding Ontario, but we seem to have gone together as a pack. Is it possible for the Métis Nation to then try to go on their own, since there is so much controversy with the province of Ontario and the First Nations? Okay, so can they do that, or are they have to go stay as three?
So right now, it's one package. It's an umbrella legislation that applies to Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta. And I will say that has served you very, very well. The momentum of having it packaged together has been something that has attracted a lot of attention in the government because they can get a lot done at once. Also, I'll say, yes, there's controversy in Ontario, but Ontario is the only place in the country with a Supreme Court decision that says there's a Métis community there. So that's something that Canada can't ignore. That's POWLI. They have to deal with POWLI. Is there an eventual future where this legislation fails because of the controversy around Ontario? I hope not. I don't think so. Maybe. If that happens, that is one of the solutions that could come forward in the second try, is breaking it up. But I really don't think that's on the horizon.
And it'll take time.
It'll take time.
Because it's not just that one single community in Ontario. They're talking about introducing or having established or recognizing 6 more historical Métis communities in Ontario that are now, that seems to be what the controversy is. And it does not seem that the Ring of Fire, which includes those First Nations, are going to move on, because why would they?
Go ahead.
Why would they?
We'll have to move on. You've had more than 2, and
Thank you.
We're getting into Ontario. Okay, let's deal with Alberta. Microphone 1, please.
Reagan Martel, Region 4. I want to bring some words in support of this resolution, and I'm going to provide a different lens because I am not a politician. I'm a program developer. I do participate in self-governance, but I want to share some things that citizens have told me that I think are important to this discussion. Folks have told me they want mental health supports and services. We had some incredible engagement over at my tents on long-term care and supportive care. We have so many needs in our communities, and people are bringing them to us daily, almost hourly some days. We cannot develop the programs that you are asking me to develop on your behalf without autonomy, without self-determination, without moving this work forward. And we may not get another chance. And so I want you, when you're thinking about this resolution, yes, we need to do things in a good way, but we don't necessarily need to sacrifice our own people to do it, because that's the calls I get daily. Daily. And I need to be able to do your priorities, and without moving this work forward, I can't. I don't want to say no anymore. I don't want to pick up the phone and say, I'm sorry, we don't have health benefits for you. I want to be able to hear from our leaders. I want them to say, Reagan, your direction is this, make it happen. And I want to be able to say yes. And we cannot do that without moving this work forward, and we can't move it forward without this resolution. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Microphone 3, please.
Okay, Donna Sinclair Gullion, Region 5, District 21. I would like to just speak to 2 things. I'm hearing the passionate plea about wanting information about the Constitution, having it explained. However, the reason I've sat in, it was called, some people call them town meetings, we call them consultation meetings. I sat in 3 different ones in our region alone, and at those meetings I learned that if we don't go ahead with the Constitution now, we're going to be in line, we're going to get bumped to the back of the line. The lawyer, I think, was Jason. He explained to us very clearly in Region 5 that if we don't deal with this now, there's so many other Métis groups in Canada that are trying to do what we're doing. And if we don't go with it now, we're going to get bumped to the back of the line, and it might be 20 years before we get a chance to do this again. So that number spoke to me. Secondly, with regard to the settlements, and Mr. Blind addressed that wanting the settlements to be involved, I hope the settlements have their meetings there as well. That's a two-way street. They want to come in, and we want them to come in. And so as long as they're having their local meetings to decide what to do about this Constitution, they come in with their one voice, it'll give power to what's happening with the Métis Nation. So I'm hoping Mr. Blind is as passionate as he is in his local settlement and gets them all involved in the discussion from their end. And that's basically it. Thank you for letting me share those 2 points.
Thank you. Microphone 1, please.
Jim Cardinal, President Region 1. Pia tekwi piksquatanao. Eugoma, kawisaputaya. Pia tek mamtanaitamuk. Muyosto, utakape apoikoyanus. Tene, mamtanaitamuk. Gipe poa tau. Louis Riel, on February 23rd, the day before we signed it for the second time with the minister, Pekta Kamasnahama, Gipoa tau. Gipegyu gak at my room that night. Heptanui nittik and the way toma Constitution kasaputaya. Exito. Magan skate in. Pogo kamyututama. Pogo. Kispin muy kamyututeno, muy katagutano ekte. Kigwai ekte wistego kaiwepu. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be careful in everything we're doing, because I dreamt of Louis Riel back in February, just before the signing. And that morning when I usually tell my wife all my dreams, I didn't. Because it was supposed to be heard first at the signing. And the ministers were there. And Louis Riel told me that he really wants this Constitution. But I also know he wants it done right. We have to do it the proper way. So we got to be careful. And we can't be lying to our people or misleading them in order to do these things. We have to be truthful. About the lady that says about Métis settlements and First Nations. First of all, we treat our people right. They will come in with us. But if we don't treat our people right, they won't be with us because they know we can't even get along amongst ourselves. We're not allowed to speak or say anything right. Why? Why do we do this? I served for 5 years. I stood by. I argued. I did everything I can for my people that I represented. And today I'm not allowed to be the president, to run for president. Why? That's my question. What we're going to pass here, like for this criminal check, we're going to damage ourselves. And I've been saying that. I've been saying that because it's going to roll down into our staff. It's going to roll down into our contractors because you can't keep it just at election. Let's be careful. Why are we building something that Louis Riel was classified as a criminal by Canada? Today, Louis Riel wouldn't be able to run here. Why? Why are we doing that? Let's do things right. That's all I'm asking. Carefully read everything that we got. Be careful in how we do it. Let's build it slow. Let's build it right. I spoke up. I've been speaking up at our meetings, and Zach can attest to this. I had said, and I'll say it again, we can't give the power to the leaders. We have to give it to the people that we represent. That's who we got to give the power to, and that's who should be deciding in everything that we do. So, piatik, let's be careful. I support this Constitution. I stood by it, and I know Louis Riel wants it, and I know that because clear as day, as you guys are all sitting here, it wasn't Louis Riel's face, but it was a light. It was right in the room where I was staying that night. And I want to do this. I want to do it right. And let's all do it right. Let's love one another, because I love my provincial council that I worked with. But you know what? Sometimes just let me say the right things. And please listen to me when I try to explain something to you, because all I'm trying to do is to make sure that we do things right for our people, our citizens here. The ones that loves us and put us there as leaders. Aye, aye.
Thank you. Microphone 3, please.
Ora Letty from Region 4, and I wanted to speak in favor of the resolution. I have personally seen, having spent time on the transition committee as well as within community, that locals and people are desperate to see this transition through and to start it at that local level, and to see the programs and everything that they've created to continue into our new government. If we don't pass this, we are putting another roadblock of our own making in the way of our locals who want to get on that hard work and be into that transition. We talk about things being a little messy with those district captains right now and the district councils, but if we put this roadblock in, we're nowhere closer to actually solving what those little problems are and clarifying how those are going to look and be implemented. So I really encourage you all to think hard on that and to keep pushing forward. We've come so far in the few years, and last year I stood here and asked you all to think about not putting roadblocks with our Constitution. Why? We took the big step. You did it. Hooray! I love you all for it. So let's not make a smaller roadblock right now and stall our locals for a year just because we're scared of this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Microphone 3, please.
Thank you again, Bev New, Region 5. This will be the last time at the mic. I just want to explain, and especially to Region 5, because I was a leader there for 19 years. When I looked in the Constitution and I look at the assets, I want to talk about our building. When I went and financed that building for our people, it doesn't belong to the Métis Nation of Alberta. It belongs to the membership of Region 5. Each member in Region 5 owns a share in our building. That's how I made sure that was done. I want to talk about S11 logging, and fortunately Terry is the lawyer of that. S11 logging, and as you guys know, funds lots of things in Region 5. In that agreement, there's 3 partners: Big Stone Band, Peerless Trout, and Region 5 Métis Nation. In that agreement, it says if one of us was to fold, then our shares would go to the other 2. I want to remind our people, at one time we owned 50% of S11 logging. Now we own 33. I love the Constitution. I'm not trying not to have a Constitution. But what happened to the meetings in Region 5 so we can talk about our assets? Who said in Region 5 that our building can be transferred to the citizens or to anybody other than the Métis people of Region 5, because that's who owns that building? So all I'm trying to say, and I want to follow up what our lawyer Zach said, this is not the end of it. We're not stalling our Constitution. You know? We're trying to just put it on hold so we can come together and work on it more. So we're not asking, you know what, this is not a roadblock to say, you know what, if we don't pass this today, we're in big trouble. And it doesn't say anywhere that we can't come back and have a meeting, because in our bylaws, we can call a special meeting specifically for this. We can talk at tables about our Constitution. So yes, again, I support our Constitution, but I don't support this motion right now. We need to build our Constitution for the people, with the people. Thank you.
Microphone 2, please.
Audrey Kent, Region 4. I want to talk a little bit about, if you could explain some of the consequences and the what-ifs. If this special resolution passes today, but one of the regions does not pass their special resolution, can you talk about what kind of consequences that is? I'm assuming it'll be a bit of a delay, but what if some of them don't come with us? Like, what happens to that local? Are we going forward with the new government, or what's necessarily going on with that?
Yeah, really important questions. So I think it was the last speaker at microphone 2 who said what today's resolution is about, really is about getting rid of a potential roadblock in the future, and that's true. All the decisions about what happens to each region and what happens to each local remain in the hands of those regions and locals. In some places, that will be easy. We know there are districts that only have one local. That local is on board, and the transition will be easy. In some places, it will be hard. There will need to be a discussion about what happens to the building in Region 5, what happens to S11 logging. The principles that guide those discussions, though, are really clear. The principles that guide those discussions are set out in the transition plan, they're set out in the Constitution, which is that those regional assets need to continue to benefit the citizens in that region, or the citizens in the districts that now make up that region. What happens if a particular region doesn't want to come along, or a particular local doesn't want to come along? That's a bridge that we cross when we get there, when we know the facts on the ground. It's really hard to answer a question like that in the abstract. But what today is about is, if the region decides to come, if the local decides to come, they're pre-approved. They can go right through the door. The consequence of not passing today's resolution is that if we don't do it today, you've got to do it in the future, potentially many, many times. There are 20-something locals. There's 6 regions. If we had to call a special meeting every time a local wanted to change its bylaws, we could have 30 special meetings in the year to come. That's inefficient. Today is mostly about being efficient and allowing locals and regions to make their choices in the future.
Thank you.
Microphone 2. Microphone 2.
Jack Boucher, Region 2. I'm over 60, so I've had a little bit of experience having my own mini constitutions, conversations with institutions and all that. So I have a little bit of experience. And with regards to a lot of the things that I've had to learn is I had to be learned. I had to learn myself. So this one here is a little bit different because of the magnitude of this whole process. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to talk to you, sir, because this is where I need you to talk to me, because this is where I need your help. My name is Jack Boucher. I've been an M&A member for a lot of time, a lot of years. So I'm asking you to look at me and saying, is this a good constitution for me?
Today's resolution is not about approving the Constitution. You've already done that. I think as the Métis Nation within Alberta, you've decided this Constitution is good for you. You made that choice in November. You made it again at the special meeting in May. The Métis Nation within Alberta citizens decided this Constitution is good for me. That's the opinion that matters. My opinion as a lawyer doesn't matter. Your opinion as a people matters. And you made that choice, and I'm incredibly proud of you for what that's worth.
Thank you. Microphone 3, please.
Hi, my name is Clifford Oje. I'm from Zone 5. I support the resolution because I believe we're taking the right step towards self-government and with the federal government, because we're always being looked down as no citizens at all. But my question is, I'm concerned about it, but as Bill C-53 passes in this fall, later year, in the House of Parliament, could other provinces that's not involved in it, would they come in with that same bill, or they have to build their own lobbying and their own bill to be recognized in the federal government?
Good question. Bill C-53 applies only to Métis Nation of Alberta, Métis Nation Saskatchewan, Métis Nation of Ontario. If there's a different Métis group out there that wants the same kind of recognition, they'll need their own bill. They'll have to do their own work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Roaming Mike.
Yes, good afternoon. Here we go again. This is Esther Auger from Region 5.
what I would like to say right now is that what I've been hearing is between the lines that some of these people that they're leaders, or they were leaders. Now, just because they were leaders, that doesn't mean we have to listen to them, right? Us citizens sitting down here, some of us don't understand what's really going on. Some of us understand a little bit, so we kind of look up to the leaders. Do you think we should vote for this, or should we not vote for this? You know what? You have every right to vote yes or no. You have every right. This is your story, not these leaders that have been going to the mic saying, "Oh, let's put it off. Let's hold off. Let's not vote today. Let's not pass it today." I mean, like, you have your own say. If we don't start doing our own say, you know what? We don't want leaders to be talking for us. Do you want leaders to talk for you? I don't. So I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to vote yes for this. And thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Microphone 2, please.
Krista Letty, Region 4. A year ago, we were talking about Constitution. Joe Blind compared this to labor pains. And having given birth 3 times, this resolution, we know it's coming. We knew it was coming. We knew in November when we were voting this was coming. Every time we have a contraction, we know we have to put faith that the next step, that brings the next step. And I just hear a lot of buts. I hear a lot of self-interest, not nation interest. And I'm getting really frustrated. I totally vote in favor of this because this is the next step forward. My family, we talk about this. We've talked about a lot of it. I come from probably one of the biggest movers and shakers who was only 4'8" in the Métis Nation, Delia Gray, who talked about this day. And I'm so excited that this is coming, but I just hope the rest of you can actually see that and put those things aside because those are messy details that can get sorted out. Thank you.
Microphone 2.
Good afternoon. My name is Brenda Joy Sinclair, and I'm from Region 4, and I'm a member of the Transition Committee. I'm the Communication Chair, which is why I'm standing up here. I went to the committee and I said, somebody should get up and talk, and they said, it's your job. So, I am asking you to be in favor of this resolution, and I'm going to say these words. I know there's lots of work to be done yet. When you look at the document that says transition plan, you'll see the word draft on every page, because this is a process that we have not gotten done yet, because we only had 12 months to get us to an election. So some of you know me. I've gone into your communities, spoken to the locals, and my words have always been the same. Your job as a local is to take the step to choose or not choose to become a part of the Otipemisiwak Métis government, and here are the steps to do it. And one of them is to affirm a charter. What this resolution does, it allows in foresight to say yes to your coming request to be a part of the Otipemisiwak Métis government. It was just simply to allow the locals who choose to come into the government that they didn't have to wait a full year to be able to do that. And this allows that to happen at your time, at your pace. And so saying that, and before I got up here, I kind of asked Crater to just give me the words that would help us move forward here. The Transition Committee and its work will be going on for the next 6 months to a year, whatever it takes for us as a full community to go into government state, to be Otipemisiwak Métis government. I ask you to affirm this resolution today that allows us to take that incredibly important step. I also want to speak to a second thing just for a moment. I have always been a landless Métis. This Constitution, this new government, gives me the hope that my children, my grandchildren, and those to come will have the right of having a land base here in Alberta, in our homeland, in our territory. I ask that you affirm this so that we can take that next step. Aho. Merci.
Thank you. Microphone 3.
Hi, I'm Jessica Falcon, and I'm from Region 3, and in a district that has to have 2 locals join together. I'm very fortunate that our locals are cooperating and communicating effectively for the best for our citizens, and I hope that we're fortunate enough that this passes today so that we don't have to wait another 1.5 to 2 years. I encourage everybody to vote yes so that we can move forward with our new opportunities that people have worked really hard to put into place.
Thank you. Microphone 1, please.
Taimi Grauman, Region 4. Question, motion to pass. Question? Oh, sorry.
Those in favor of calling the question and bringing this to a vote? Those opposed to calling the question? Okay, the motion passed by a wide majority. So we will now be voting on the special resolution. It's found on page 156 and 157 as read out.
That was the question was on the motion.
Yeah. On the motion, like on the resolution. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I didn't. No, he was calling the question. He called the question, so it was a vote on whether to call the question, whether to end debate. So at this time, we'll be holding a vote, and we will be taking count. Are there vote counters on the floor? Okay. So if I can have your attention.
Just wait for a second. Let's call them. Actually call them.
Call who up?
The counters. So make sure that there's no.
Okay, if we can have the counters on the floor. We'll just wait a minute here. What?
Ron.
Think I should say that?
So, or do you want to leave? They would know.
I'm just worried, because of mentality.
So, Ron, can you identify your counters so we got them stationed out and so we know who's counting?
Okay, could I have, Jennifer? Wave your hand wherever you are. Okay, over there. Okay, Angela. Christine, out there. Tracy, over there. Ryan. Oh, right there. Okay. Jack Curry. Jack's out there. And Deborah is right there. Okay, so those are the counters. Keep your hands in the air. As they go by, they'll click, they'll look you in the eye, they'll tap you on the shoulder, whatever. And it's going to be a little bit of time, but just make sure that in order to make sure your votes are counted, keep your hands up. Yeah, they're all sectioned. Yeah, they each have their section identified. It's a little crowded, but it'll work.
Thank you. We're now ready to hold a vote. So to recap, I will be asking for those of you who are in favor of the special resolution to raise your hands, and please keep your hand raised. Again, there'll be counters, so please bear with us. There's a lot of people here. So those in favor of the special resolution found on pages 156 and 157, please raise your hand and leave it raised with your yellow ribbon until you're acknowledged. Voting outside too, or there are vote counters outside?
Counters outside. Yes, we got 4.
Okay, we will now wait for 2 or 3 minutes or so until the vote counters come in.
Clean that one corner out. And we'll be good.
If you haven't been acknowledged, keep your arms up. There might be an area where there haven't been counting yet. So we'll stand by about 3 minutes to allow the vote counters to do the tally up.
I missed that point on, she called a vote to have the vote? The question to have the...
She thought that I kind of mistakenly called for a vote on the resolution instead of on the motion. So it was kind of...
Yeah, we've done this before, so sometimes we just say question.
Yeah.
But she was asking, the young lady was saying that she wanted a question.
I think she was calling the question,
Yeah.
right? Which doesn't require a seconder, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Call the question is just a mover, and then you have a vote, right?
But typically, when you have a motion, we say question, then you vote on the motion. But she kind of phrased it slightly different. That's what I mean. We need to say all the counters in, and we need to all those against, so that they don't have any. You know that, I'm just...
Yep, all good.
Someone could open that door over there and leave that door open. Might get a little bit of air going.
I guess they'll tell me when they finish counting. Okay, ready? Oh, if I can have your attention now. The first count is in for the yeas, and we will now be asking for those who vote against the special resolution. Again, that's special resolution found at page 156 and 157. We've had the yes vote. And are the counters on the floor? Okay, we're ready to go. So those opposed to the motion, please raise your arm with the yellow ribbon and keep it up until you're acknowledged by the vote takers.
Oh, yeah.
I find that people are sensitive. They're really sensitive to feeling that they're told what to do.
Yeah, you're right. And you guys gave everybody equal opportunity to talk. And everybody basically gave their opinion. It wasn't necessarily on.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Just all of their opinion.
Yeah. Some are way off topic, but I found from I've done this for like 40 years in Manitoba and everything, and then it's usually better just to
My
leave,
name,
but
where's
it's
my
like
name?
a hockey fight.
Yeah.
The referees let them fight, then don't look too excited, just move on.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Just let them go there.
Right, yeah, you're right. Especially in situations where there's it's boiling.
Yeah.
And I've seen it more than one time. In fact, I've seen Joel's being a chair, and like he said, no, that's it. We're going to win this and in. But people don't
Yeah, sometimes it takes longer because then you get people to say, you know, it's our meeting, you know, then you get then crazy motion, then you make a motion.
So I want to make an announcement
keep
while
us
we're all
going till
waiting.
8 o'clock, you know.
So this young lady here wants to make an announcement. What's your business? Métis Child and Family Services had you throw your names in a hat, all those that went visited her. And she's got this beautiful prize. So it was won by Esther, who visited her booth. Phone number 587-645-0107. Your auntie. Auntie is out there. Sure, likely story. Was my auntie.
Yeah, mainly in Alberta. Yeah. I do the odd case. Yeah. I don't do much of this, you know. I used to be the president of the council, and I know the outdoor council, friendship centers, and back in the fall, and a bunch of other organizations.
Some fella got lost, but his card is found. So the card is here. Kevin Russell. Ad B. Mr. Ad B. Your card is here. I got a card, and I got somebody's room card. I have a beautiful pin, blue pin with a, infinity sign on it. If anybody can truly argue the case, it's here. She doesn't look like Kevin. You lost your card. Oh, you want to? Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll drop it off to Kevin. The pin is yours? Really? Are you not lying? You're not lying, eh? Let's all judge her. Are you lying? Doing pretty good there. All we got left is a bedroom, bedroom, hotel key, whatever they call that. Is that yours, Angie? Dorma Kaba. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a hotel, motel. Is that yours? That's for the lodge? Oh, it's not yours, eh? I didn't really want to give it to you. Okay, someone said it belongs to the lodge, though. So if anybody's staying here from the lodge, it could be yours. Usually the elders. I think some of the elders are staying here. Just letting you know.
The results are now in on the special resolution. We have the final count. The number of persons casting a vote in favor of the resolution is 255. The number of persons voting no or opposed is 47. I declare the special resolution passed by a percentage of 84.4% to 15.6%. Special resolution carried by the required at least 75% of those casting a vote. Next on the agenda will be ordinary resolutions. Can we have the resolutions committee come forward?
No, we don't.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Terry. Yeah, good to see you again. Yeah. Thank you. Oh.
So,
yeah. Do you guys want us to take the chairs down?
No, just give us a minute. Thank you. So what we need to ask at this time, if people want to carry on, we can carry on and finish the business today, or we can do tomorrow. That's usually what happens.
But all there is just a resolution.
I know.
So I kind of hate for them to say that and they may mistake but there's hardly any closeness. But I think everything is just great. But if it takes a week or two, then we can bring it to the but I want them to feel there's one final regular item of business, and that would be ordinary resolutions.
If we could get your attention, I know you guys are excited and all that standing around, but we'd like to finish the business of the day, if you don't mind. So if you could just take your chair, we'll just finish the business. This is really noisy. So we have, and then Lyle's not even talking. He's just like, first time. So can we get your attention, please? We want to get on with this agenda. Yeah, number 2. This is not getting any quieter. I'm not sure what we should do. Let's see. Bingo! All right, microphone number 2. You talk to them there, Jack.
Jack Boucher, Region 2. We heard a lot of comments with regards to Métis settlements, so it's something that I would like to address with the resolution. It goes like this. Whereas the Otimisauk Métis Government Constitution reads in Part 4, Alberta Métis settlements, and whereas the many Métis citizens who reside on the settlements desire to partake in the many programs and services of the Métis Nation of Alberta, and whereas there is an opportunity for the Métis within Alberta to begin the relationship to work together. Therefore, be it resolved that the 95th Annual General Assembly hereby give direction to the MNA and OMG reach out and begin the process of relationship building. And be it further resolved that the spirit and intent is for the ensuring that all citizens have access and to have all services and programs for all M&A citizens.
I'm going to ask whether the recording staff have that. Do you have the equipment, or do you have a copy of the resolution?
I will give you a copy.
No.
Well, I want to make sure first that it's properly recorded. Otherwise, we don't know what we're talking about because we're not served with a paper copy, like for something important like resolution.
So just to get that clear, Jack, that's your motion.
That is correct.
So
And I have my seconder.
I second that motion.
Dennis Reed. Can you state your name and region? I'm not sure I heard.
He did mumble it. Let's get one more time.
Not sure that you came through. Can the seconder please state their name and region?
Dennis Reed, Zone 1.
Thank you. Okay, we have a resolution on the floor. Any questions?
People are asking if you can read it again because there's so much noise.
Yeah.
They didn't know what was being said.
Okay, we're getting some comments that some people weren't able to hear the resolution because of the noise. So first I'm going to ask those on the side there carrying on conversations. You're welcome to do that, but it would be nice if you would maybe go in the patio. Because it's hard to hear with the acoustics here.
All right.
So we'll need some quiet. Mr. Boucher, would you like to reread?
I guess the question is, do I need to, or do they have the information, or do I have to go through the whole process? Or do you guys just want like my voice?
I don't have a photocopy of it here or a picture of it, so I can't reread it. There's staff that do recording. You can maybe they can indicate whether they have that or not. I don't know.
I don't know who they are.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Who's the conversation with me or to somebody else?
Both. Yeah. I'm just asking if there's any staff that has the recording.
Joanne's going.
Pardon me?
Would you like me to reread it, Secretary?
Well, I don't know if they got the information.
You would like him to reread it? And then
If you want, you can bring it up and I'll read it.
when you're done. Okay.
Or you can read it.
Whereas-
Okay, go ahead.
Are we ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Whereas the Opetemsiwak Métis government reads in Part 4, Alberta Métis settlements, and whereas the many Métis citizens who reside on the settlements desire to partake in the many programs and services of the Métis Nation of Alberta, and whereas there is an opportunity for the Métis within Alberta to begin the relationship to work together. Therefore, be it resolved that the 95th Annual General Assembly hereby give the direction to the MNA and the OMG to reach out and begin the process of relationship building. And be it further resolved that the spirit and intent is for ensuring that all citizens have access to all services and programs for all MNA citizens.
Thank you. Microphone 3. We already have a mover and the seconder for that resolution. Microphone 3, go ahead.
I want to talk on a different subject.
I'm sorry? Okay, something else. Do we have any last call for discussion?
What did you say? Question's been called? That fellow said question's been called?
Okay, there's no one coming forward anyway. Okay, we'll have vote on the resolution. Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Okay, those opposed? Those opposed? Resolution carried.
Yeah! I think you're happy.
There were about 60 people casting a vote in favor and none against, just for the record.
You want a picture of it? Yep.
Microphone 3, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Jeff Shalfu, Zone 5. Just a matter of clarity moving forward. There was a change in bylaws and whatnot as to the eligibility of candidates to run. Now, there's a number of individuals who were sitting on provincial council or in the regional council who could not run because of past wrongdoings or criminal checks, but they were allowed to run for the provincial council. And I don't know when that was changed, the eligibility criteria. The question I have, though, can the changes be made by ordinary resolution, or does it have to be by extraordinary resolution in order to make those people eligible to run?
For special resolution would require 75% vote. Yeah. Well, we're in ordinary resolutions now. Okay. Special resolutions normally require advance notice.
No, the question was,
the
question, I don't think you understand the question. The question was, can we introduce new election laws or election eligibility elections for candidates by ordinary resolution or by special resolution?
Well, it would be in the bylaws. So we're in the process of transitioning to the new government. So
okay, so it is a bylaw change?
Well, I don't know that there's any such rule in the new bylaw. I believe that I don't know. You'd have to look at that. You know, okay, Mr. Fayon might have knowledge about that.
So, Jeff, you've been around as long as I have. So, the special resolution is for a bylaw change. Today, if you wanted to introduce you could introduce a regular motion that you want this change. That would have to, you can bring that forward next year as a special resolution. Today, even if you moved it, it can't happen. There was no notice, not enough notice.
Any further ordinary resolutions?
Not quite. I mean, nothing.
Last call. Well, the next matter on the agenda is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So,
Murray Stuck, Region 3, I'll make that motion. Murray Stuck, Region 3.
Microphone 3, motion to adjourn. Those in favor to adjourn? Those opposed?
No.
Motion carried unanimously. Next item would be closing ceremony, closing remarks by President Poitras.
They didn't put it on the agenda. They hadn't put it on the agenda, but I was going to say, they didn't put it on the agenda, but we had Alfred said to Jim, he could speak about his advocacy, but so could others. So, but it's not formal.
Is this closing remarks? closing remarks, and then she'll have a closing prayer. Yeah. No, they usually put it on the agenda, and it's nothing wrong. Yeah, there's nothing on it. Good evening, good afternoon. I think it's afternoon still. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everybody for coming out. We've come to the end of another business meeting for our 95th annual assembly. I hope you all enjoy this evening. As always, we have a banquet. There will be the regional recognitions that we always have at the banquet. And there will be music and dance. And tomorrow, we always leave Sunday open, so if we need to carry on, but if not, I believe there will still be breakfast. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. But I think there will still be breakfast tomorrow for everyone to have before they head out. So enjoy the evening. Thank you all. I believe it was a great seeing so many people here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President. And we will now have the closing prayer.
Thank you. Please join me in prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. As our annual General Assembly comes to a close, we lift up a heartfelt prayer of gratitude. Thank you for the cherished time we have shared, the memories we have made, and the love that has bound us together. Lord, we ask for your continued blessings upon each of us gathered here. May the connections we have formed deepen and grow, even as we depart from this assembly. Help us to carry the spirit of love, unity, and understanding in our hearts as we return to our daily lives. As we go our separate ways, we pray for your guidance and protection. Surround us with your grace and peace, guarding us against any harm or adversity. Help us to nurture the relationships we have rekindled or strengthened during this time together, ensuring that our Métis connections remain strong. May love, peace, and harmony continue to bear fruit in our governance, our lives, and relationships. Let us carry the message of love in our hearts beyond our annual gatherings, and may love guide our interactions and shape our relationships, not only within our nation, but also with friends, neighbors, and strangers, allowing love to permeate every aspect of our lives, for in love we find unity, strength, and the power to transform lives. With grateful hearts, we place our trust in you, now and forever. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. It's a great assembly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. I was so glad to see you up there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was so nice.